Hey everybody, Randy Ridings here with the Quadyak. Here you see a couple of stills from a ride I just did on the Ruby Jack Trail. I did a time lapse of this and I'll post that at some point. Got to process it first. You'll also see probably the main impediment to my making any kind of time is how many people stop me and want to look at the Quadyak and ask a bunch of questions, but that's okay. This should be the last of the rebuild videos. I'll go through shifting and steering and brakes, and then I'll be moving on to videos on my rides. Alright, enjoy. I have cabled up my bar end shifters. There's no wheel on the left side, but you can see wheel on the right side's working, and this is what in most bikes would be the front shifter. On mine it's the back because we reverse everything. So there it is in its lowest gear, middle gear, high gear. Might have a little bit of adjusting to do, but I'm going to make sure my cables stay out of stuff. Gotta work on a few settings here, but there went through the gears, and then on the front, shifting down. So there's my highest gear right there. That wheel needs trued, but there's my highest gear. Go back to the lowest gear on the front. I haven't computed my ratio on my highest gear. Alright, here's this rear derailleur now. There it is there. And there's my lowest gear, and if I remember right, that gear ratio is about a 0.7 to 1. So this is my hill climbing gear right here. The gearing and shifting is really identical to a multi-speed bike. In this particular case, I have 21 speeds. I have a 3 ring sprocket here, 7 ring sprocket in the front. I'm using bar end shifters that you see here, so I can just do these with my thumb. So on the rear sprocket here, there's my smallest gear, and correspondingly, if I take this to the biggest gear in the front, there's my lowest gear ratio. Take that one up, start dropping the front one. Largest ring there, and then there's my highest gear ratio. Still haven't trued the tires yet, so you might see a little wobble there. That's next on the list of things. A little clicking there. Needs to be set right. Here's how the brake system works here. We've got this bracket attached 2 places of the frame, comes up to this 45-degree angle. It's welded on the bottom of this to this piece that's cut at 45. Then it comes up with these kind of fork ends here, and that's what the disc brake calipers are attached to, which of course then go over the discs, and that runs, cables run through the frame up to the handles, and give it a spin, and that's the left side. The right side should only stop the right side, yes, because of the freewheel action of the axle. The left side will stop both sides. Do that again, left side, and there you go. They're rubbing a little bit and we don't have a lot of adjustment room, but I'm going to ride it like this for a little while, and then shoes kind of wear in a little bit and this thing's going to flex a little bit, and I want to do too much adjustment until after maybe 30-40 miles, kind of a wear-in period. Working on our steering mechanism here, we've got a regular gooseneck, regular set of handlebars. Now what we've built for this, you notice these little notches there. That's to hold the U-bolt, so that's where, so this won't spin around. Then, a piece of this 80/20 1-inch, we've got a small notched hole in that. So that's going to go on there with the plate on there and a couple of nuts. I'm going to tighten that down and I will show you where it goes on the boat. But this is essentially a crossbar that will have the cables through it. So when you turn the handlebars, you pull on cables from either end of it. And I'll show you how that's going to work as we go along. Okay, here you see our steering mechanism assembled, and we have this little pintle screwed into the frame, and it's got a little nylon spacer down there to make it turn smooth. It just drops over that, and it just hangs on that thing. We found that with the tension of the cables and everything, there's no worry of it coming off. I rode this thing, a similar system, for thousands of miles and never had the steering come off. We'll be attaching cables from here. I've drilled small holes through here. We'll run a cable up and around and just pinch it off. There's little figure 8 cable ties that just will pinch off. Then we're going to run it to the frame of the seat. It'll be raw cable to the frame and then sheathed cable behind it. We'll build in a small thing here, drill through with the small hole on one side, the larger hole that fits the sheath on the other side. Put a ferrule in there, or ferrule, however you pronounce it. And so there'll be raw cable there, then sheath cable that will go out and come up to the mechanism in the back. Now, I've been working on that as well, and that is this piece right here and all this. So the cables will come out of this hole, come around, they're sheathed to this point, then they're raw open cable out here. What that allows you to do is pull this side to side, and one cable comes out from the bottom, one from the top on this crossbar piece, and so that crossbar, this crossbar, can go back and forth, and then you just cable it through under the seat. It's all sheathed to that point. That's how you get your force on it, and then it goes to that crossbar that we just assembled. I'm going to show you the steering system here. Standard handlebar, gooseneck. Then it gets non-standard. We've got a yoke here. We've flattened this gooseneck stem to where this U-bolt has positive pressure on it, so it can't spin. That comes through, this U-bolt comes through this cross piece, which is now cabled on either side. Pull on these cables and you can see the wheels back there turning. Alright, I'm cabling the steering system right now. You can see I have the sheaths here, one there and one there, and then there'll be cable that comes up to these pieces here. But you have to really think about this because it's rear wheel steering. So if I want to turn right and go that way, these wheels have to turn this way. They turn opposite because they're pushing the rear end now to the left, which is the front end to the right. So what has to happen then is when the cable that'll be on there is lengthened or pulled, it's going to have to pull this side over,
So you have to watch where you cable your sheaths. In other words, they have to cross underneath the seat to make this work. The cables are raw cable to here. Then we have them going through my seat frame, and behind there is sheathed cable. We terminated the sheath in a hole here in the frame with a ferrule through there for support. Those come up behind the seat, and you might not be able to see down in there, but they cross. So if you see down in there behind the seat stem, the cables cross, then they come up and to this crossbar here. And I've included some tensioners here if I want to pull some more tension on the cables. Cables then go out either way of these crossbars. Right now I just have them looped. We may change that later. Loop them around a few times. Put these cable fasteners on there. And you can see from back here, you move the wheels. And you'll notice when I move the wheels to the right, aiming to the right, which would aim the front end to the left, then the steering wheel goes to the left. So I steer it. I don't have to reverse steer. I don't have to think things. I just steer it the way I think. You know, go that way to go left. Routed the cable so I don't have to reverse steer. And then this piece right here allows me to independently align the wheels, so I can loosen this nut, turn this turnbuckle, same on the other side, and bring the wheels into alignment with the front end. And there's the entire steering mechanism. Right now you might notice the steering system bumps the side of the boat up there a little bit. We can solve that in a couple of ways. We can lift this a little bit if we want to. We could pinch these in, heat them here and bend them in. I don't want to do that yet, any of that yet, because when I had this the first time, they rubbed on the side when I wasn't in the boat. As soon as I sit down, that puts pressure on the middle of the boat and opens the boat up about an inch, and then I believe these will clear just fine. Because I saw the same thing the last time when I wasn't in the boat, steering would be hitting the side. When I was in the boat, it cleared it just fine. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's just one of those little quirks about this thing. I've gone through, zip tied my cables down so they stay out of the way. I'll probably put another one up there. Got to keep those cables, you know, my feet will be here, my heel will be about there coming up, so I got to keep this area all clear. So as far as I can tell, I am done, minus maybe truing these wheels, airing them up, a few things like that. The brakes, I believe, are now adjusted, and all the gearing works and the steering works, and the seat's in place. I had to do a little work to the seat to center it and get it where I wanted it. The next step is to take it down and test ride it after I true these wheels. But it's middle of the afternoon and I have somewhere to be in about an hour, and I also can't get this through that door. My dad's not here today, and I would need to go out through the big double doors to get it out of here. So we're gonna take it off the sawhorses and clean up a little bit, and then probably the next thing you see will be a test ride. It's October 7th, 2017, and the Quadyak is once again operational. Thanks for sticking with me through all these technical videos of the rebuild. It's going into winter, so I probably won't get very many long rides in. So I think my next videos, I'll go back and show you some of the early long rides, till I get caught up with my more recent rides. I'm Randy Ridings, and this is the Quadyak.